Hello everyone, and welcome to The Single Parent, brought to you by Christ Our Shepherd Ministries. My name's Jennifer Dow, and we are bringing you real solutions to everyday problems that single parents face. And I'm so excited today. Today's a very, very special day because we have my mother, Susan Patterson, on the show. Yay! And we are talking about how to be an advocate for your child, how to support their education, all of these topics, and how difficult it can be as a single parent to be the sole provider, working all the time when you're not working, trying to take care of the house, and then try to put more on your plate with doing extra at school. It can be very, very difficult. And so that's what we're all about. And if anyone knows how to do that, it's this lady right here. Not just because I'm a little biased, because it's my mama, but also because she has an extensive resume. In fact, I was reading her resume the other day, and there was so much stuff on there. I was like, I didn't know all this about you. She has like, oh my goodness, this long. But she has 30 years experience in education. She was one of the first nationally board certified teachers in 1994. She also has experience working as a literacy facilitator, a regular classroom teacher from kindergarten through 8th grade, and she now sits as a Title I specialist for high poverty schools in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, and has, I guess you said your greatest accomplishment was raising 2 daughters. Yes, yes.
I do consider that my greatest accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
Raising
Good.
2 daughters who we all have very good relationships with each other. And I was even commenting to a friend today about how wonderful it is to not just be your mother, but to be your friend.
It is great. So now that we get on topic, because we could do this all day, why are you so passionate about advocating for your child's education? Why is that important to really get involved with your child's education, even if it's hard?
Well, one of the things that comes by being involved is that your child knows that you value learning. And that's probably key is, you know, education, people tend to think school, school, school. But really a love for learning is what you want to develop in your children, because if they love to learn and want to learn, school's going to have a totally different experience for them. And so by example and by talking with them about it and being there for them with it, they're going to want to learn more. Therefore, they'll want to study, they'll want to go to school, they'll want to do all those things that you want them to do.
Now, not only do you have experience with this education thing, but you have experience being a single parent too. Tell us a little bit about your experience just being a single mom and doing this whole advocacy thing for your children.
Okay. When I became a single parent, the girls were still in elementary school really. And I went through a period of time of being pretty angry and just kind of saying to God, why? And then wanting to have some kind of direction and wanted to do the right thing. And early on in that, I just felt compelled to a particular Bible verse in Jeremiah. It's Jeremiah 29:11, and it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and to not harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." And once that verse was really driven home to my heart, it kind of became pasted up around the house. Because when you're a single parent, and even when you're not, when you have children, you have concerns and you want to make sure that they get the very best education that they can. You want to be the best parent that you can, but as a single parent, you feel like you're so lacking. You're trying so hard to be mom and dad, but you don't need to be mom and dad. You just need to be a good mom or a good dad.
Right.
And so as your kids go through school, and as you guys went through school, I found out that it wasn't as easy as I thought it was when my mom was raising me. And you know, sometimes there's special challenges that happen, and you have to have something that you can hang on to. And for me, it was this promise that God knew what his plans were, not just for me, but for my family. And that I didn't have to worry about what the end result was going to be because he knew. And in that, found comfort even in the difficult times.
Okay.
Because there will be hard times with it.
Yeah, a lot. But we made it, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Good. So before we get into when there's actually problems in the classroom and with the education, let's just touch on, for a child that seems to just be doing fine, really, there's not much problem, they're just kind of floating along, they're doing good. What would you recommend for, and how, what would it look like to just kind of step up your involvement a little, just to be that overseer, to be the advocate, that word that you like to use, for your child's education?
I think it's really important to hold your child accountable and hold yourself accountable. So you come up with a plan that works for you. For me, it was, we came in the door, the first thing I did was got dinner together, and then I opened up book bags. And
She did.
it was my job to open up the book bag and look through everything in it. By doing that, I felt like I was showing I had an interest in what was going on at school, but then also I could hold them accountable
Right.
for whatever came home in that book bag, whether it was homework and a praise note, or a note that was like, hey, child's not doing homework, or hey,
Right.
they're not showing up for class when they're
Okay.
in high school or junior high. And you know, sometimes parents and children will tend to think that that's an evasion of privacy.
And I did.
My motto was, you know, it's my job to raise you. And if I think in any way that I need to be checking things out, I will check out whatever I have to keep you safe.
And I'm
And
over it
keep-
now, and we are on speaking terms, so it's okay.
So I think that's the first thing that happens, is a strong interest at home about what's going
Right.
on. And you know, providing your children a place and an area in the house where they can do homework. And you know, preferably, I think, where you can see them.
Yes, that's a good idea.
I also, I think it was on a James Dobson talk show, they were talking one time about don't let the computers be, you know, stuck away in a corner somewhere. Keep the computer where you see it, so when your child's working even on homework on the computer, you can very easily see the screen, so you can be monitoring what they're watching. And I think you have to establish a way of communicating on a regular basis with the teacher.
Yeah, so it seems, what you're talking about doesn't seem like it's going to take that much extra time.
Right.
I think, I don't know about other single parents out there, but when I was a single mom, I would feel guilty that I couldn't be the room mom or that level of involvement because I was working and had so many other responsibilities. And in my mind, being involved in my child's education was being the room parent or volunteering at all the school functions. But what I'm hearing you say is that is not really being involved. It is being involved, but there's a different way that you can be involved in your child's education
right.
and not spend hours and hours and hours, because we know that a single parent really cannot do that.
Exactly.
So other than checking through the book bag, any other ideas for someone who's on track, who is not, there's not really any problems?
I still think it's important for that child to feel like you're able and willing to help them if they need it, but not do it for them. Never do it for
Okay.
them. If they're struggling with something, go ahead, help them. But if they're really struggling with it and you're like, I'm not really sure what to do to help them get this, you write a note to that teacher, or you call the teacher and you say, listen, really having a hard time with this. I need some help with this. And it's the teacher's responsibility.
That's great. So I'm hearing lead by example, be accountable, have your child have something to be accountable to you on, and facilitate an environment for learning and getting their homework done and that sort of thing.
Yep.
Okay, great. We have a few more minutes before we have to go on break, but let's go ahead and get started talking about when there's problems.
Okay.
What first do you want to look for if you're just saying, okay, I just want to kind of take an inventory of what's going on with my child's education?